It's Divas That Care Radio. Stories, strategies, and ideas to inspire positive change. Welcome to Divas That Care, a network of women committed to making our world a better place for everyone. This is a global movement for women, by women, engaged in a collaborative effort to create a better world for future generations. To find out more about the movement, visit divasthatcare.com after the show. Right now, though, stay tuned for another jolt of inspiration.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Divas That Care. My name is Candace Gish. If this is your very first time tuning into us, a huge welcome. The Divas That Care is now in its 12th season, and we are listened to in over 30 countries around the world. All right, guys, I am excited. You know, we're going to be welcoming a brand new diva to our family. She is a diva podcaster, too, on top of it. And I know you guys are going to love her podcast. I'm going to be actually posting that on our social media after our program here. All right. I'm excited to be introducing to the Divas, Caterina Rando.
I'm excited to be here. I love being a diva. I love talking to divas. And I love uplifting women to diva status.
Oh, well, then you're definitely a part of a great program here, and we can't wait to get to know you. So, Caterina, can you mind introducing yourself to all of our listeners? You know, maybe tell us where you're from and a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I live in San Francisco, California, where I actually have a thriving women in business center here. Of course, we're not just live and in person on the ground. We are serving women on a mission all over the world. And women entrepreneurs are usually starting their business because they have a mission. They have a mission to help people with their health or with their fitness or with their life or their business. The challenge is, though, that many women start their businesses because they want to be of service, and I want to help them thrive in business financially, thrive by having bliss in their business, and that's what we focus on.
I love that. And California, oh, I'm envious of you right now. You probably have some pretty great weather right now.
Oh, we do. It's a super sunny day.
Yeah, super sunny day. I always laugh because I live up in Canada, and for all of our listeners that know that, we've been fighting with snow every other day still. And I love it. I'm like, our spring snowfall. So, but yeah. So, Caterina, I'm just excited because you were mentioning that you do events, and that's something that I'm really interested in. You know, the last couple of years have been so crazy,
yeah,
and we haven't been able to do a lot of things. So tell me about some of these amazing events that you guys are doing.
Well, one of the things it's really important to acknowledge is that women love to get together. Now, as you said, the last 2 years we've been doing it on Zoom. It's way more fun live and in person because when women get together, we share ideas, we make friends, we connect, we share resources. We never have any shortage of things to talk about. It's important for women to incorporate retreats into their life on an annual or semi-annual basis to get refreshed, to get rejuvenated, to get re-inspired, to connect with other women. And that's one of the things we do is we host women's retreat, or we just do something called the Bliss Retreat for women leaders on a mission. And I also teach women how to host their own retreats because there's a lot of things to do to not only get the ladies together, but to make everyone feel welcome, make everyone feel safe, cultivate community, and have some transformation to take whoever's joining you for a retreat to the next level.
Oh, I love it. And I've done a lot of retreats over the years because I absolutely love what you're saying is that getting together and being able to connect with people, to collaborate with people, and just be so inspired. And I always use that. I used it a lot in the different businesses that I'm involved in, and I always had this burst of energy, and it kept me going for so long. And I can see why a person should almost continue to do these because you really keep going once you've been to one.
Right. Because the thing is, you know, we're not the same woman this year as we were last year or the year before. And hopefully we're not going to be the same woman same time next year. One of the things that's going to continue to fill our cup, to nurture ourselves, because remember, self-care and self-love and self-support, these are important aspects of a woman's life that we often need to be reminded about because we're often caring for everyone else. When you get together with the ladies and then you have something to look forward to do it again in 6 months or a year, it really does uplift our life, and it does give us community. And as we've said, women love to support each other, and we love to share ideas, and we need some consistent ways to do that. That's why I feel retreats are such a great way for women to thrive.
Oh, my goodness. So let's talk about the different types of retreats that you're doing, because I know that a lot of our listeners are probably like, oh, yeah, sign me up. I need to get away. I need to go do something. And that's kind of the retreats that we're talking about right now, something where somebody can go away to.
Yeah, well, yes. And now I will say that we also host virtual retreats in advance of our live and in-person retreats, because we want the ladies to connect before they get together live and in person.
I like that.
And because even when we're working hard in our businesses or in our busy lives, it's wonderful to know, okay, next week I'm going to be 90 minutes on Zoom with the other ladies, and we're going to be having a virtual retreat. Because, of course, we can't get away every weekend or every month or even every quarter, which is why we do that before the live retreats. One of the things we do for our upcoming live retreat is we're doing a 10-day Mexican Riviera cruise. Now, you might say, Caterina, 10 days is a long time, right? Yeah, it's going to be great, but it takes some while for us to decompress and to fully get there. And that's why I like the long retreat. And I know some people are, anti-cruise, but I'm going to say that I love cruises. I love them for retreats. And the reason is because you can truly relax, because somebody's worrying about everything else. Where are we going to eat? How are we going to get there? All of that is handled when you're on a cruise ship. It's a wonderful way to do a retreat. And then I also do a Speaker Mastermind Retreat, where the ladies get together and we work on having them be more outstanding speakers, because every woman has a voice. I want to support every woman to amplify her voice, because when women use their voice, good things happen.
I love that. I completely agree with you. And you know what? I want to kind of dive back a little bit. You had mentioned that you kind of work your way up, and yet you will do events leading up to it, or retreats leading up to even your other retreats. And I really like that. You're really reinventing a whole system here that can really help people out. And I like how these women are then getting to know each other before they actually meet in person.
Right, because as you know, Candace, everybody says content is king. Well, the truth is engagement is the queen of everything. And when you have people sign up for a retreat, you want to look at how can you have them engaged before the retreat, because that way they're going to definitely come. They're going to get more value. You're going to be cultivating community with the other participants. And as a result, by the time they get in person, they're already BFFs. And that means they're going to have a much more amazing time. And it's not to mention the fact that it's super fun to do virtual retreats.
Well, one, you get to know people. So how big are these virtual retreats? You work with women leaders, and so how many are usually on these?
Yeah. Well, we're going to have 30 women on the ship, and right now we've got 26 women in our virtual program because we have 4 spots left. And so what we do is we get together. We have different themes every month. Like this next one I'm doing, the theme is to amplify your visibility to increase your impact. And they're going to get fascinators. They're going to get a box with a fascinator. And last month we sent them these mugs that say, empowered women, empower women. We'll send them some tea, and we'll give them a challenge. We'll tell them to take a picture with them wearing their hat and post it on social media, or we'll tell them to walk around the block wearing their fancy hat, and we'll see who takes the challenge. Or we'll tell them to go out for the evening. Yeah, and it's a way for them to become more comfortable being visible, because so many women say, oh, I want to do reels and I want to do video and I want to start to speak, but there's that little inner voice that unfortunately they sometimes give the power to that says, well, who would want to listen to you? And you don't really know the answer until you start to use your voice.
You know what? I absolutely love what you're doing. And I love that they get to know each other. And there's just so much about this that I really enjoy. So do these women, are they from the United States, or do you have them from other parts of the world?
That's a great question. So far, we haven't had any international. Well, we've had the U.S., we've had Canada. So I don't know if that counts as international, but that's about it. The U.S. and Canada, and we come together. And, you know, the beautiful thing about the pandemic was that we did make friends all over the world and make friends all over the U.S. and Canada. And so, and I just, in fact, last week I took 3 of my clients out to dinner when I was in Southern California. I had never met any of them live and in person, and being in the same room sure makes for a wonderful time together. And we can already be friends before we've met.
Isn't that fun? I love that. You know, I'm so excited because, you know, last couple of years, I just, like yourself, I have this amazing opportunity to meet so many people. And I think people are really wanting to get out there and share stories. And I always said, I'm like, this is the year. We need to plan something. We have to plan an event, you know, to get together, because we've had all these years of not being able to do that. And it's just, it sounds like so much fun just to get out there and do that. I have this energy to travel and to see people and to connect and collaborate like never before.
And Candace, not only you, everybody else wants to get out there too. And you, as a leader, as a facilitator, as somebody everybody wants to hang out with, they're going to be an insta yes to come and be with you, because there's really not enough opportunities for us to get together live and in person yet, and women are definitely craving it.
I think so. I love that. So tell me about your podcast. So let's talk about that, because this is what I want to share also with our listeners, because I think that, you know, especially the ones that are globally, you know, they're going to be able to tune into you. I know you're on iHeartRadio, you're on Spotify, and it's just, there's so much that, you know, content that I think our listeners are going to love.
Well, thank you so much. My podcast is called Expand Your Fempire, Fempire, because women do business differently. And I want women to see their business as a fempire, which is a female-run business that is a force for good in your community and the world. And I want to support women not only to be of service through their business, I want to support women to also massively monetize through their business. Because what we know is when women build wealth, you know what happens? They contribute to the community. They contribute to the health care of their children. We know that, as you know, I'm sure, internationally, when a woman starts to make a little money in a household that could use a little money, the domestic violence rate goes down, the mortality rate improves, girls stay in school longer. And, you know, we talk a lot about educating women and the importance of that, which, of course, I agree with. Well, guess what? The entrepreneurial education of women absolutely uplift every community, because we see when women are thriving in business, they employ other women. It's wonderful. So anyway, the podcast is all about supporting women to thrive in their businesses. We've done almost 95 episodes, I believe, and you will find it to be very info-packed.
Oh, my goodness. And I'm going to be sharing that, guys. You know what? Any way that we can learn, we can be inspired, and we can empower others, I am game, and I will support it in any way that I can. This has been great. Oh, my goodness. So tell me, what else do you do? Like, you've got a lot on your plate. You obviously are inspiring so many women to be the best versions of themselves. So what else are you doing?
Well, thank you so much, Candace. You know, a couple things I want to mention. One of the things we do is we also teach women how to do retreats, because we actually have a retreat to teach women how to do retreats, because I used to do it in the classroom, but then I figured, you know what, it's better to teach them while we're doing it. So we also do a retreat to teach women how to do their own retreats, which is super fun. And the other thing we do is we teach women how to sell. We have a Thrive at Sales program, because women don't want to be salesy, right? You know, we have big hearts. We want to help everybody. And many women are afraid of being salesy, so they go the other way, and they don't ask enough people to be their client. And they shy away from it. and everybody likes them, but they don't have enough clients because they're not inviting anybody to work with them. So that's one of the things that is really important to teach women. We like to call it supporting you to achieve sales bliss, because the more you're serving, the more you're blissing, and also the more surplus you have financially, the more you're blissing. And as any woman who's been in business knows, when you're stressing financially, it makes it hard to love your work. When you are having surplus and you're blissing financially, then you can bliss everywhere in your business too, because the financial stability is there. So that's what I want to also support women with, that we've seen. And especially as we came into the pandemic, Candace, a lot of people were having so much uncertainty that our sales classes really soared. And now women are doing so much better with their sales.
Oh, I love that. And is that your Sales Mastery program?
That's the Sales Mastery program is after you've taken the Thrive at Sales program. We have the Thrive at Sales program, and then the Sales Mastery is let's work on sales for a year, and that's the Sales Mastery program. And that really supports women. Oh. We've got women that have doubled, tripled, quadrupled their revenue, and it's so wonderful to see them soar and expand and grow.
I love that. And it's so important. We're seeing that is a huge trend. Women in business, and the income that they are now making is extraordinary.
Yeah.
And if we can empower more women to get into business, then I think you're right. It's just going to, it's basically that rippling effect. It's going to empower so many other people and inspire them to continue growing their businesses too.
Exactly.
I like that. And I'm going to be sharing that too, because I love these type of programs. I think it's really important that continuing our education in anything that we can. I've always been a big believer in that. I've had amazing mentors over the years that have always been about personal development and learning as much as you can, because then that will in return help the people around you.
This is so true. And the thing I want to make sure everybody recognizes is, they've probably taken a sales class or a public speaking class, and maybe they've taken 10 or 15 over the years. But the truth is that unless you master these skills, they're going to keep being a challenge for you. And that is the goal. The goal is to get to mastery. And that's why it's important to stay at it with your speaking, with your selling. Of course, you're already probably masterful at serving your clients. But the other thing is we want to get masterful at self-care so we can keep serving. Those are what I call the pillars of expanding your fempire: speaking, selling, serving, strategy, and self-care. Those are the 5 jobs we need to master. And Candace, if I can mention, the challenge for women is usually we're doing too much of things in our business that are not the highest and best use of our time, that are not our jobs. And it's really important for us to get more support in our business so that we can master those areas that we are best suited to master.
Oh, I love that you said it, because as women, it's hard for us to delegate. We want to take control and do that because we don't want to ask for help, but at the same time, we don't want to always give up what we've been working so hard to achieve.
Right. And then some women don't do it because they're concerned about the cost of doing it. But the thing it's important to recognize is if you have more support in your business, then you're freed up to do those things that only you can do, like being the spokesperson for your business, the visible person, and doing the selling and doing the workshop. And, of course, I'm a big believer in public speaking to gain clients and get your voice out there, because people want to have support, and when you use public speaking, they can see if you're a good match for them before they come and work with you.
Perfect. Oh, this has been so much fun. I'm going to, at the end of our program, I'm going to ask you to come back, because I know there's just so much that you and I could be chatting about. But one last thing I do want to ask you before we're kind of done in our program today is that you are involved in charities and giving back. And I want to mention a little bit about that, because that part of it is really important to me. We're big about charities with the Divas that Care. So can you share a little bit about that with us?
Yes. Well, I will mention I wrote a book on this called A Woman's Guide to Starting a Giving Circle with C.J. Hayden. We wrote that book together because we started a giving circle of women in business several years ago. And that's where everybody pledges that they're going to give a certain amount for the year. And then we identified charities that were important to us, which were under women's entrepreneurship training and girls' education training. And we have 4 charities that we've supported for many, many years. One is in Mumbai. It's called Shakti for Girls Education, which teaches girls about education and reading and self-esteem. And then also a lone organization, Power of Love, in Zambia. We support deaf women in Nepal and girls in Uganda. And my friend, we have to have a big discussion about this on another episode, because there's a lot to say here about embracing philanthropy in your business and your life.
We are definitely going to be doing that. I am just so excited. The more that I've been looking at your website and talking to you, the more excited I am. And I'm so excited to be welcoming you to our Diva family, because I think that you're an extraordinary woman, and we would love to get to know you even more in the future.
I'm an insta yes. Candace, thank you.
It is my pleasure. Well, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us. I know that we barely even scratched the surface on what the things that you're doing and even about yourself. So please come back on our program. We would love to have you back on. I know that some of our other hosts would love to have you on their program.
Thank you, Candace. Again, I'm an insta yes. I'm an insta yes. I'm an insta yes. If I could say one more thing, I want to encourage everybody to take away something from our time together and take action to uplift yourself and your life and the women in it.
Definitely. That would be perfect. And I love that, because I was going to ask you if you had a last-minute tip, and I think that is a beautiful tip to leave our show today.
Yay. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And thank you so much to our amazing listeners that have been tuning in to us. As I mentioned, I will be posting all of the social media in regards to today's program, because I'm overwhelmed with everything that we had talked about today. And I think that you as listeners are going to love it. And I know that you're going to want to share it with all your friends and family. And I hope that all of you that have been tuning in today have an amazing day, and that you remember to do something kind. It's really important that we do that, guys. Until next time, everyone.
Thanks for listening. This show was brought to you by Divas That Care. Connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course on divasthatcare.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss a thing.